There is an ashtray on your airplane, right there in the lavatory on a plane where smoking has been illegal for 25 years. And here's the strange part. That plane is legally not allowed to take off without it. It makes no sense until it does. And when it clicks, you'll understand something bigger, that flying is the most quietly insane thing humans have ever pulled off. Because from your seat, it looks easy. You sit down, you look out the window, you clap when the wheels hit the ground. But under that calm, an invisible army of people, machines, and, I am not joking, a live hawk is working to the second to keep you alive. So let's take one flight and pull the curtain back. Start on the ground before you even board. The plane lands and a clock starts. The crew has about 45 minutes to turn it around. Think of a Formula One pit stop, except the car is a 70-ton airplane. A tanker rolls up and pumps in tens of thousands of liters of fuel. Cleaners sweep the cabin. Bags come off, bags go on, meals load, water tanks fill, everyone moving to their own stopwatch. And that airport water fountain nobody drinks from? The water is pulled from a deep well and filtered harder than the bottle you just paid $6 for. Now, the engines. Look at the front of a jet engine and you see a giant fan. Most people think a plane is shoved forward by the hot blast shooting out the back. It isn't. That blast is only about 10% of the push. 90% comes from that fan at the front, just hauling in enormous amounts of air, like a giant grabbing the sky and throwing it backwards. Which is also why you never ever stand behind a running engine. It will pull in anything, including you. So how do you keep birds away from something that inhales? You hire a bird. Airports keep falconers on staff, who fly trained hawks over the runway. One hawk shows up and every other bird gets the memo. This is not a safe place to hang out. Nature's problem solved with more nature. Wheels up. Now you're a metal tube scraping against the air at 800 kilometers an hour, building a monstrous static charge. So the wings have little wicks on the back edge that bleed that electricity out into the sky. And when lightning hits, and it hits every plane about once a year, nothing happens. The aluminum shell carries the charge around the outside and lets it go. You are sitting inside a flying Faraday cage. The safest place to be in a thunderstorm might just be the thing flying through it. Meanwhile, that flight attendant who checked your boarding pass at the door, she already saw it at the gate. She wasn't checking the pass. She was checking you. It's called profiling. In a few seconds, crews read your face, your walk, even your pupils, quietly deciding who on board might become a problem. Because a flight attendant is not a waiter. They're trained to fight fires, restrain a drunk, deliver a baby, and do CPR at 10 kilometers up. The drink cart is the least impressive thing they do. Quick tip while we're up here. The best seat on the plane is not business class. It's economy, right over the wing. The plane balances on its wings like a seesaw, so the nose and tail swing the most and the middle stays calmest. You paid less to get shaken less. And speaking of the wing, watch it during a rough patch. It's flexing, bending meters up and down. That is terrifying, and completely on purpose. Aluminum is springy. A wing that couldn't bend is a wing that would snap. Up at cruising height, it's minus 50 outside, and the air itself is a river. There are jet streams up here, invisible currents moving faster than a race car. Catch one going your way, and you basically fly for free. A few years ago, a plane rode a storm from New York to London in under 5 hours, a record shoved along by an extra 400 kilometers an hour. Okay, the ashtray. Smoking is banned, but people are people, and once in a while, someone sneaks one in the bathroom. Now, if that person panics and stubs it out in a trash can full of paper towels, you've got a fire at 10 kilometers with nowhere to go. So every plane keeps an ashtray, a safe metal home for the cigarette that isn't supposed to exist. It's the airline quietly admitting that people break rules and refusing to let that kill anyone. That's the entire philosophy of flying in one tiny metal tray. And that philosophy gets tested. In 1983, an Air Canada jet was fueled using the wrong units, pounds instead of kilograms, and left with less than half the fuel it needed. Halfway there, at 12 kilometers up, both engines went silent. The cockpit went dark. But a plane with dead engines doesn't drop out of the sky. It glides. It becomes the world's heaviest paper airplane, and it can coast 100 kilometers looking for a place to land. The captain aimed for an old airfield he half remembered, not knowing it had been turned into a racetrack with a race running on it that day. He glided down, touched the tarmac, and stopped. Nobody was hurt. They call it the Gimli Glider. Most of the time, though, the machine has your back. Modern planes fly by wire. The pilot isn't heaving on cables, they nudge a little side stick, and a computer works out how to actually move the plane. And that computer will not let the pilot do anything the plane can't survive. Pull too hard and it quietly overrules you. Outside, another invisible person rides with you the whole way, the air traffic controller passing your plane to the next controller like ping pong, so you are never for 1 second unwatched. Then, landing, and here's the secret pilots know. A soft, gentle landing gets the applause, but a firm, hard landing is often the better one because it bites into a wet runway and actually stops you. The smoothest landing isn't always the safest. So, back to that ashtray. Every layer of this, the fan, the hawk, the Faraday cage, the glider, the computer, the controllers, is the same idea on repeat. Assume something will go wrong and make sure it doesn't matter. Everyone insures everyone. Nobody is ever left alone up there. And here's the part that gets me. Down here, we agree on almost nothing. We drive on different sides of the road, run trains on different track widths, argue over every border. But 10 kilometers up, we quietly agreed on all of it. One set of rules, one language, one sky, shared by every country on Earth. Flying isn't just the machine that beat gravity, it's the closest our whole species has ever come to agreeing on something. So next time you're crammed in a middle seat, remember the ashtray. An entire invisible world is holding its breath, just so you can be bored at 800 kilometers an hour. Try to enjoy the flight. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this one, give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.